Playhouse 0, Amy K, Y94. So engagements, you say, I will marry you. I can't wait to say I do. Eventually, it ends up turning I don't. 1 in 5 engagements end up not actually turning into marriages, says a recent survey. So why did you call off the wedding? If this applies to you, what happened? What made you go like, oh, nope, this is a bad idea? You changed your mind? More common than we were expecting from the text line anyway.
Someone said, my ex and I broke up after being engaged for over a year. We had been talking about where we wanted to live and kids and such, and we realized we didn't want the same things. I still wish him well, but so glad we didn't say I do. Someone said 2 weeks before the wedding, I found out he still had Tinder on his phone. His excuse was he just forgot to delete it. I realized you don't forget about something like that, and we should not be getting married. Someone else said, my best friend called off her engagement because every time they would argue, he would say, good luck finding someone better than me. And after like the 100th time, she realized it wasn't normal for him to do this, and it was manipulation.
So for the one person with Tinder, now granted, I'm sure that there was obviously some bad stuff going on there, but just in general, did you know we're just a couple of months away from not April, but April?
What?
April is supposed to be the month where you like go through your phone and delete the unnecessary apps. You clear out the ones that you don't use.
Oh,
it's like spring cleaning. April.
Yeah, I got it.
April. Why did you call off the wedding?
Actually, one of my bridesmaids the night before, just as a joke, decided to run a background check on my fiance, and she found out that he had been married once before. He never ever mentioned that to me. So the fact that he lied to me about that really freaked me out. So I definitely had to call off my wedding.
It feels like a really random thing to just decide to do, like the background check.
Well, she's in law enforcement, and she just decided to run it, and it just really freaked me out knowing that he was married. He also went through bankruptcy, and this guy was just totally full of secrets. I knew nothing about them, and this just could not be done. I could not marry someone that was full of lies.
So obviously it worked out the way it's supposed to, and your friend was looking out. But I think, can we just acknowledge your friend is not being like fully upfront with you? Like she didn't just go like, "Hey, you know, it'd be like super funny. Like, what if just for kicks, I ran a background check on your fiance before you get married? Like, wouldn't that be so funny? Like she had her own suspicions.
Yeah, she knew something that you didn't know already.
Like, there's no way you're just like, hey, you know, it'd be hilarious.
Yeah, why? I wonder what she knew that even prompted her to be like, let's do this.
She's probably running background checks left and right on everybody.
Maybe she already did, and she had the news.
Like, oh yeah, let's do this. It's just gonna take me a second. Goes out to her car to get the printouts. Oh look,
I already have it.
Isn't that so funny? What a fun girls' night. What are we seeing for calling off the wedding?
Someone said, I ended my relationship after we moved in together. We were engaged for a year, and within 2 months, he was expecting me to cook, clean, do his laundry, and still splitting bills 50-50. I realized I wasn't getting married. I was adopting a grown man. And someone else said, I knew a couple that broke off their engagement over where to live. She wanted to stay close to her family. He wanted to move across the country, and neither would budge. And they realized they couldn't start a marriage this way.
The relationship got far enough that it became an engagement at the very least, but then the wedding never happened. What played out? 2, 3, 7? It's called, text, or send a voice memo to that same number.
Someone said, I called off my engagement because I was more excited about the wedding than the actual marriage when the planning stopped being fun. And I had this moment of, wait, do I even want this? Someone else said, our relationship went kind of fast, and we were engaged within 6 months of dating, started planning the wedding right away, and it was just so stressful. I think deep down it was so stressful because I knew I was rushing into it, but just didn't realize it until my mom asked me the question, if the venue burned down tomorrow, would you be relieved? And I immediately said yes, and that's when I knew. I couldn't go through with this.
Well, at least it didn't require actual arson to fix that for you. Why'd you end up calling off the wedding?
Okay, so you were curious as to why people calling off weddings, right?
Yep.
The reason that I called off my wedding was because whenever we were beginning to size rings and whatnot, he got a formal letter from the state saying that a stripper had his child, and he was the paternal father. He was the biological father. So I sat tight with him through it while we went to all the paternity tests and all that stuff. And then he just got crazier and crazier because it was messing with his head. And eventually it was a situation where he turned into someone I didn't want to marry. So I called everything off completely. And moreover, he had lied to me about the whole stripper situation in the first place. And I'm not going to marry someone that can lie to me that easily, that I'll believe. She texted him quite a lot and, about, not my profession and stuff like that. She was sending him very, very mean text messages, the kind you got to filter out. And, he was just mortified. He came from some fancy family or whatever, dad, a doctor and whatnot, and was just mortified, embarrassed that he had a baby with a stripper. That's why he was so, it was such a big deal to him. It was a family embarrassment, shame, and that's how I knew it was a stripper for sure. And then, of course, she was not, apologetic in her text to him about it at all. She invited him to see her strip, and they have a baby.
Huh.
There's so much going on.
Most people just bring dollar bills.
So much going on. But can we just talk at the beginning when she says he got a government official letter that said he had a baby with a stripper? I doubt the state of North Dakota said that verbatim.
You know what? Maybe.
I don't think it includes your occupation.
Dear Cynthia, your man has impregnated a stripper. Sincerely, Doug Burgum.
We need more to this. Someone only said, I called off my wedding because my fiance asked out my sister. Was this before you were engaged and you found out, or while you were engaged? When did this happen? Give us more details. Someone else said, my friend ended up calling off her wedding just weeks before because she had a gut feeling something wasn't right. Ended up looking in his phone, noticed a number that kept showing up. Turns out he had been talking to a coworker for months. She confronted him and he said it was nothing. And then she told him it was emotional cheating and he said it wasn't. Then he finally agreed it was emotional cheating. And she said cheating is cheating either way, canceled everything.
I really want to just learn more about the government letter and the stripper. It's
Right?
It's going to haunt me all day, to be perfectly honest with you.
Her occupation was not in that letter.
Or is it more like he got a letter being like, hey, this is your baby?
That's what it was. Hey, this is your baby, but she just keeps throwing that out there.